Hi, and welcome to Girl.
What do you think? I spit everywhere.
That's hot. That's a turn on, but that's episode 4. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Hannah, why don't you introduce today's topic?
So today's topic is body positivity, and this was introduced to us, or this was asked, or
Yes.
it was asked for us to do this by one of our fans, one of our many fans we have.
We don't like to call them our fans. We call them our listeners.
Our listeners, sorry, our listeners.
No, don't be sorry. Just kidding.
So, yeah, we like this topic. It's something that's, at least for me, it's very personal. I think for Angela too, it's kind of personal. So
it's very personal. It's personal for everyone.
Personal for everyone, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think going into body positivity, because I've been thinking about it the past 24 hours when we decided to do it. Body positivity, I kind of want to get into like a deepness, but I feel like it's more than just like your physical appearance. Maybe that's what it is, but like body positivity, like does your sleep schedule, your like self-care time, like does that count as body positivity? Because I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it all contributes to each other.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. Is that like keeping yourself healthy is, I feel like,
it's more than just eating a salad.
Right.
It's a bunch of different things like combined together.
It's a lot. And we decided that we were going to talk about body positivity today in like a chronological order, being young girls and growing up, and that like body positivity growth that we had to have, being the chubby fat girl in school.
Yes.
Hannah, talk, say, express your childhood.
Well, I was always a bigger kid, like just in general. Like I was always taller than all the boys, and like if you don't know, if our listeners don't know, I'm half black. Mm-hmm. So I have some of the standard features that come with being half black, which is usually a bigger bottom half. So like sturdier legs, bigger butt, that type of stuff. So I always had that. And then you'll hear us talk about this a lot, but then divorce happened. And I became an emotional eater, and now as time has passed, a lot more, not necessarily tragedies, but things have happened in my life that weren't my favorite, and I've continued that habit, and now this is where I am.
It's tough to break the eating cycle.
Yeah.
And we both started to overeat when our parents got divorced. Shout out to anybody who experienced that. It was, I don't know, you want to feel,
it's rough.
You want to feel like everything's going to be okay, and nothing makes you feel better than some chicken stars from Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Right. Blah. I was a big cheeseburger girl. I loved to go through drive-thru. I went through drive-thrus a lot more, I think, because our parents had to work harder. It was like 2008 and the recession was happening, and then it just got harder to live, and it was easier to just go through a drive-thru and get a cheap meal, because I feel like my parents were more tired and stressed and going through a divorce. So not only was it like me filling a void, but I also wasn't being, my diet wasn't like the number one priority in the family because we had to go to work. My parents were tired. I was also in sports too, so like I did exercise, and I know Hannah was athletic too. Like I would, it's not like I would just sit on the couch all day. Like we were active, but because being active and money not coming in very much, it was easy to go through McDonald's and get like a bunch of double cheeseburgers and then go on the go. So that's, I feel like, where the weight gain really started.
Yeah.
And then the after effects of being a bigger child and going through that stuff, not only mentally the effect that that has on you, but like the social aspect of growing up with other children who don't know what you're going through. And being, I wouldn't say I was like bullied for being overweight, but I definitely was not. I had to like come up with new mechanisms to kind of be looked at, like being funny or playing sports. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get you. I know I told you this story yesterday, but
Say the story.
4th grade, Joe DiCarlo. I'll never forget him.
What an asshole name.
I know.
Screw
He was a little kid. He was a little kid. What did he say?
I said screw being anonymous.
Right.
Say his name.
Anyway, so my friend and I were talking about, we were in 4th grade in our classroom. We're talking about our favorite foods we like to eat. And even at that time, like, I wasn't overweight. I feel like I wasn't like stick thin, but I've never been stick thin. And just like the way my body's built, I just don't think I could be. But I was an average little 4th grader, I would say. I was still taller than all the boys in my class, but you know, everything else, I played soccer, did all that stuff, swam, like in my pool in my backyard, like doing all that stuff. So I was like, I would say I was a normal looking 4th grader. But freaking Joe DiCarlo, my friend and I were talking about our favorite foods, and he said, oh, I really like tacos. And I said, yeah, I really like tacos too. And Joe DiCarlo said, yeah, I can tell. So.
Was that like the first time that you knew that you were a bigger kid and like you weren't viewed the same?
Kind of. I mean, we would always, a lot of times, like in my elementary school, we'd always line up by height, and I was always in the front. Like if we did like tallest to shortest, I was always in the front, or like at least towards the front. So like I always knew I was bigger in that way, but that was the first time I kind of felt like, oh, I'm not just like taller. Or like that's the first time I remember thinking, oh, like people look at me as like a fat person or whatever. But anyway, Joe DiCarlo was short. So I said, well, at least I can reach the top shelf of the grocery store.
And that's body positivity. You mock someone else for
right.
their shortcomings. No pun intended.
Yeah. So yeah, but then I've had people make comments like that.
Being a kid is rough. Being a kid, there's like no social like consequence for just being an asshole.
Not really.
I had because I was a chubby kid too. I wasn't like I wouldn't say I was like really obese, but I was overweight. Like I needed to wear a fat girl bra really young. I feel bad saying that. I don't really want to say that. But what's a better way to say it? I was very overweight, and it looked like I was developing quicker than I actually was because I was overweight, where I store fat. So that was all happening. And I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, like one time I was called Hannah Fat Tana when Hannah Montana was really big, which I mean, kind of funny.
Is it though?
It just
you always remember
messes with
that.
your head when you're a young kid.
Just like I'll always remember what Joe DiCarlo said.
Yeah, and I'll always remember. I had the biggest crush on a guy, and he told me he wouldn't like me because I was, bigger. I was a bigger girl.
That's
But I was also really
something I struggle with.
yes, that's a big thing. And I had always thought that I just wasn't a girl that guys would like. Like that was not in for my playing cards. Like I could be funny, I'll be one of the guys. I was never like thought that a guy would like be attracted to me until I like got into high school. Like halfway through high school, I was like, if a guy showed any interest to me, I'd be like, oh, he's just gonna bully me in like 3 days anyway.
Right.
No fucked up.
Yeah. Do you think you have a good self-image or like perception of your self-image now?
What do you mean good self-image? Like do you think, are you asking if I'm confident in myself more?
I guess, yeah. Or like, yeah.
Yeah, because I know that it's weird. It's like once you know what it is to get attention from like someone that you're sexually attracted to and know that it's like possible, it changed the way that I acted. Like now knowing that I'm like a potential love interest to people, like that's something that is possible in my life. I have like been consciously more worried about like being too weird or being too loud or dressing how I want to dress, making sure that I look attractive. So I lost a little bit of like I guess my innocence or my youth and like being as funny and loud and wild as I used to be. Like now that I know that guys actually do find me attractive sometimes, it's like I do worry about my appearance more. Confident in like a different way. It's weird.
Yeah.
But I do ask myself, I still have some influences of being a bigger kid and like, oh, and sometimes like being on dating apps, I used to do them. It's like guys would comment and be like, oh, I like bigger girls. Like you're gonna be funny and sweet and stuff. And it was like, I don't think I'm really that big, But even someone at my size is like chubby or like too much for a lot of guys. Which is like I still worry about it. And it's like I get it because I've always experienced that. Like some guy would wanted to FaceTime me to see like if I wasn't too big for him, which is you have your preference, but it's something that I have to deal with. And it's
yeah. I think like you said, like that's something I've always struggled with is like knowing that like it kind of goes back to our second episode, know your worth. It's like I know I'm smart and I'm funny and I'm talented and I'm caring and I'm a good friend and I'm all these things, but just because of a physical trait that I have the ability to change. Like, yeah, it's hard work and it's not going to be overnight. Like, oh, I just lost 8,000 pounds like overnight, But it just frustrates me. It frustrates me because I feel like that's what's keeping me from finding a relationship. And like when guys treat me like they like me and then are like, no, like I just want to be your friend. And I always think, so what is that one thing that's stopping you? And for
like
me,
if I look different, would you date me?
Right. Yeah. And for me, it's always thinking, well, if I was skinnier, like then they probably would want to be my boyfriend because they like everything else about me. They like my personality. They like my heart, my brain, and they would love to spend hours on end with me, but they just wouldn't want to take it to that next level. And I think that's hard for me because I wouldn't say I'm somebody that needs a boyfriend or like needs to be in a relationship, mostly because I've never been in a relationship. So um I I don't need that, but I think, I mean, at some point in your life, I feel like most people, if not everyone, like kind of crave that a little bit, that like this is my person type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I because because I feel like the reason that I don't have that is my weight and is the way I look. Um, I don't think I have a very high self image. Like I think I'm never like, oh, like I look pretty or whatever. And like, I mean, more recently actually though, which is weird to me at least, I've kind of started to like, I've decided like, well, if I think this is cute, like I'm gonna wear it. Like I'm not just gonna like hide myself or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I've started to dress a little more the way I want to and not really worry about what other people think. Because I personally don't. I'm not like, oh, you have too many rolls, so you can't wear that. Like I would never think that about somebody. So, and honestly, people are self-centered, so they don't really care what you wear anyway.
Yeah, they just care about how they look.
Right. So I think that's that's a place where I'm kind of starting to change my view on myself and like letting myself like I bought a crop top for the first time. Like I've never worn a crop top. Like, and even now I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna wear it. Like,
But you have it in your closet.
right, I have it and it's ready to go,
Mm-hmm.
and I have it. I have an outfit in mind to wear it, and but
That's
I
a
don't
good
know.
step in body positivity. Like
Yeah,
buying something that you're like, I don't know,
yeah,
and then wearing it just because you want to and you
yeah.
think it looks cute.
Yeah, because I don't. I mean, I'm not obviously, but I don't dress for other people. I dress for comfort first. That's my thing. Me and jumpsuits, perfect because they're comfortable. They're easy. They're pretty flattering on me because even though I'm bigger, I still have like I'm still a curvier. Like it's a little wider curve, but I'm curvier.
Yeah, you definitely have curves.
So you know they're flattering on me, and I'm like, you know what? These are comfy. They look
And
cute.
that's
I
not
like
to say
them.
girls who aren't like the most curvaceous, like aren't like able to pull off things either. It's just
Right.
because there are circumstances where people do get judged.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people are self-centered and don't really care, but I've been in circumstances and hung out with girls and guys who have commented on how women or men look, and it's
Right.
very real. um my mother being one of them. um just people you go to school with that you mentioned. I mean, Tinder's a thing because we obviously still judge each other about how we look and how attractive people are.
Yeah.
um and it's like overcoming that social norm with yourself is probably what body positivity means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys, ugh, shouldn't even be about guys. It shouldn't.
But sometimes it is like sometimes it's hard to not. It's
Think if
hard to
you're
separate
attractive,
the
like
two.
you're attractive.
Right. It's hard not to think like, oh, I'm ugly because nobody wants me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's hard because it's like that's what society and that's what all these people
There's somebody for
tell
everybody,
you.
though.
Yeah. I mean sometimes it just takes longer for some people, but and maybe that's me. That's who I am. Like it's just gonna take a little longer, but I don't
And I
know.
think that we also have standards for ourselves too,
That too.
because I don't know. I just don't want to date anybody to date anybody
Right.
because that's
And I
not.
think too, which my mom always says this to me, and I've heard it from other people. It's like no one's gonna love you until you love yourself. Like you have to be confident in who you are and like accept who you are as a person, and that kind of radiates out. Like you attract the energy that you put out, type of thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I personally can get to a place of like, you know what, maybe I'm not a size 0, but I feel confident in who I am as a physical being, like my body, and then also my mental, my personality, my heart, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but that's tough. It's a struggle. And I don't know. Is there anything you do to kind of like remind yourself that like you're worth it? And
There's some toxic things that I do and some positive things that I do. I notice that when I look in the mirror, I suck my stomach in. I do things to try to make myself look more attractive in the mirror. Um, Taking pictures of yourselves. It's like a different era.
mm-hmm.
And I definitely still struggle with my body image. I think everybody does. Maybe not
Mm-hmm.
body image, but just insecurity in general, like how your face is structured. Like that stuff is on people's mind. Like, are you attracted to other people, or are you like,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel confident in your skin that like you can put on something and you feel good wearing it and you feel comfortable both on the inside and on the outside?
Mm-hmm.
But some tips that I do to keep myself is like I try um if I don't like the way that I'm feeling, I'll do something like physical. I won't, I'll try to eat healthier. And then if it's not about like exterior, um, I seek out other women to encourage me too. I like to seek out inspiration and hear what other people have to say. Because if I hear from another woman that like it's okay to be who you are, or I see someone who is confident in their skin doing exactly what I would want to do,
Mm-hmm.
that gives me the most confidence in like just accepting who I am and
Yeah.
making sure that I'm healthy. Not really my like how I look, but like how I feel. If I have
Yeah.
enough energy to do what I want to do throughout the day. Oh my god, I should
Yeah.
open up my blinds. So they look brighter. Open up your window. Get some sun in your life.
Yeah.
But I like to go out and get yummy drinks, and I like to do what I want to do. And I think being assured in my independence is a body positive thing. Now, a nightmare for body positivity and like trying to like be confident in yourself is going shopping.
Mm.
I've had some awful experiences shopping when I was younger. And I know
Mm-hmm.
this is for anybody who didn't like fit into clothes like in children's sections, like normal children's sections, like that's a big deal. That's kind of like
Right. Like once I aged out of like limited to and stuff like that, I was kind of like, even though I was still in fifth grade, I was kind of like, oh.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like I didn't go to Journeys or those type of stores. Like t-shirts didn't fit me right. Well, and then you grow up and you realize that there's no right way to wear them. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, if you're not happy with the way you look, do things that you think will work your way up to being where you feel more comfortable in your skin,
Mm-hmm.
internally and externally. Do you do anything to make yourself feel better?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I do this a lot when I want to feel better, just about kind of a lot of things, but I clean my room
Mm.
and like I make sure my space that I'm spending time in is clean and clutter free and like the way I want it. So that's kind of like I can have a clear mind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then also listening to music and or singing
Definitely
is very like cathartic to me, and I really enjoy doing that. And that always makes me feel better. So I don't get to do it as often because I get nervous and I don't like to sing in front of people. So if there's anyone home, then I don't do that. But if there's
Oh
no
yeah.
one home,
When people aren't home, I'm belting. You'll be back.
right? It's like it's like I'm having my own musical theater concert in my house by myself. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
So
Music is
I
a
don't know.
huge, huge healer to me.
Yeah.
Not just singing it, but like listening.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to the same song because the lyrics just like hit you right in the heart.
Yeah.
My vinyl collection.
I know mine's back there. I only have 4, but it's fine.
That's okay.
But yeah, I think I need to be better though at like doing stuff other than, because I really, this sounds bad, but I also really enjoy watching TV because it kind of gets my mind off. Well, because I do it a lot, but it gets my mind off things. But I need to be better at doing things other than that, like going and taking a walk, or even just like sitting outside for a little bit, doing stuff like that to kind of also clear my mind and just. But like, I mean, I also like, I do like when I'm in the mirror, like I'm always like, oh, let me just like do this, and like maybe if I position myself, like, also like, weird fact about me, I've never taken a selfie, like a proper one. Like, yeah, I take Snapchats of myself, like where I'm like, you know.
Yeah.
But I've never been like, oh, I look good, like let me take a picture of myself. I've never done that because I guess I just don't feel like I look good, or I don't know.
You do because you don't want to, or because you just.
Mostly because I don't want to. Like, I don't feel the need to.
And you
But I
don't.
also think that, like, I don't think I would look good if I did it.
Well, a lot of people take like 400 pictures of themselves, and then pick one of the 400
Right.
that they don't think they look good in. So I don't think a person takes one picture and they look good automatically. And then a lot of people can edit themselves, or
That's true.
social media also makes it, oh God, I look greasy. Look at this body positivity. And then over the lines. A little bit. But another, yeah, like it's hard to not get wrapped up in like the physical aspect of body positivity, but it's also like if you feel good about your own personality and that you have things to offer, it also makes it easier to um, give yourself the idea that you are worth something, that you have self-worth, if you know that you have interests or you have things that are more than just what you look like. I think a way that, like, a tip is like to work on your personality, work on who you want to be more than what you want to look like.
Right. Because I think about that too, and I think that's where I do have a lot of confidence, is in like my personality and who I am and like what I have to bring to the table other than like what I look like. Because I mean, I don't know. I just really think I'm an awesome person, but you know, that's sometimes I feel weird saying that, and then like that I'm like conceited or whatever, but I don't think that's a bad thing to like know, like, no, I'm cool, like I'm a great person, and like I'll treat you well, and I'm respectful, and I'm non-judgmental and whatever. So I don't really say that very often, but even that's something that like instead of focusing on like, well, I don't look good like wearing this, or I don't look good like this, it's like, but I'm a good friend, and I'm a good listener, and I'm a good singer or whatever, like, or I'm a good softball player or whatever it is, you know, like instead of focusing on what you don't have, like focus on what you do have. And I know that it's hard because I don't do that very often, but I want to be better at that because I feel like we said, like just being okay with who you are as a person. I think that's more important than how you look.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to make sure that when you are in the position where you're looking at other people and it's your little dialogue in your head of judging people, um, to view people how you would want to be viewed, to be
It's the golden rule.
understanding and make sure that you put it into action what you would want someone else to think of you. Because if you look at someone and you're like, ooh, well, just know that could be you on the other way around. So if that's the way you want to live and that's the way that you want to view the world and you think the world is, then that's what your world's going to be.
Right.
But if you want positivity, you got to not only believe it with yourself and think you look good, but when you look at somebody else who may look just like you and you're thinking bad about them, then that's where your positivity gets diminished.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have it, I think, come full circle with how you treat others and how you treat yourself. And it's hard. It's not easy.
Right.
We're all human and we all think things and we see things on the media and how our parents act. I mean, I know my mom could be judgmental sometimes, and I've struggled with like trying to be accepted with like her standards, even though she'll say like I'm beautiful and all this stuff, but there's still times where she has commented on like dieting or whatever that is, and it's still like I hate that I have to deal with that type of stuff. And a daughter, not in my situation, but a daughter could have like perfect body, beautiful, and the mom will still like encourage them to wear makeup or encourage them dress a certain way and what's attractive and teach them skills that are not really what the daughter may want to do, but it's more just like how to be presentable in the world. And that can be something that can affect your positivity with yourself. Making your parents proud, your family accepting you, you know, a lot of people in your family wear a lot of heavy makeup, and when you go to a party, if you're not wearing makeup, they're going to say stuff about you or whatever. Like that's a real thing. So fitting into that standard and standing up for yourself, standing up for your personality, standing up for the way you look. And if you see someone else getting attacked for that, I would personally stand up for them. I know that there's a kid who was wearing, like with my step family, like he's like a 14-year-old boy, he wore nail polish and the grandpa gave him a hard time for it. And he was just expressing himself. And you don't know what he's going through in his personal life. And like, just encourage him and say, oh, I like your nail polish. Like, I think you look really good.
Yeah.
So just give back love to other people and yourself, I think would be my conclusion with body positivity. And make an effort with acting on it. If that's what you want your world to be.
Yeah. And be kind to yourself. Like, if you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to change something about yourself, like, everybody makes mistakes. Like, don't think you're a failure if, oh, you messed up and you had a cheeseburger. It's like, okay, then you had a cheeseburger and that's okay, girl. Cheeseburgers are good. Or you messed up and you had 7 fat sauce sandwiches. Like, okay, you can do that.
That's not a mess up, though. It's all
You're
about
right. That sounds so good.
state of mind.
Girl, what you think? Sponsored by Fat Salad Sandwiches.
And you'll listen to studies that say, like, you're going to have a heart attack by 50 if you eat a cheeseburger every week.
Right.
Right? So what's this whole thing of life about?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just take care of yourself if that's what you want. If you feel good, feel good.
Yeah.
Make sure that you start with yourself first. Hey, we're all trying to get through it together. No one has the answers. Everybody's trying to figure out the answers.
Right.
And you got to start with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Be kind to yourself. I love that. And I love you. I think that you're so beautiful. Queen. And I enjoy every single minute that I talk with you and we have together. Women empowerment. It's going around. Black and white pictures.
Yeah. I have not done that. Even though I've been sent it. But I don't know.
I get it.
That's just another weird, like, to me, that's like another, like, weird social media validation thing that I support anybody else that wants to do it, but I personally am like, nah. But also it could be that I don't think I have any good pictures of just myself that I want to post.
And you don't have to post it. That's not what it's about. It's
I support all the other people that have them.
It is also nice to feel like you see other women that encourage you.
Yeah.
And think of you. And then it is like social media just in general is kind of like a conceited platform in itself.
Yeah.
There's an extent of look at me. vanity there, even if you're not like posting yoga pants selfies all the time.
Right.
Everybody wants to be like have likes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we all are aware of that, how it can like harm us.
Yeah.
You conceded. But just make sure that you're being true to yourself and your personality, and that you present yourself the way that you feel comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. Present yourself the way you would want to be seen.
I want to be seen as, I don't know. I think everyone's really complex and has a history, and no one's had a perfect life and stuff. So,
yeah,
be kind, be cute, and skinny's a state of mind, honey. Just kidding. That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. That's just a joke. It's all about just loving yourself.
Yeah.
Work.
Well, do you have any final thoughts on body positivity?
Love yourself. Express
Love
yourself.
Yeah, I'll post a thing, or we'll post a thing on ways that you feel confident. Share ways with us that you feel confident, and we'll put them on our Instagram, just like we did with Just. That was really fun.
Yeah, guys, thanks for replying. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. All the people that have been watching. Like, I honestly didn't think there would be anybody that watched besides us, but I've gotten a lot of support, and I really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure Angela does as well.
Definitely, especially in these times, it's really nice to know that someone's at least like listening.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned for next week's episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be
next episode. We're getting a little raunchy. We're gonna get a little,
yeah,
we're gonna get a little fun.
Yeah, and we decided to do something a little different. I know I said in our first episode that if you had a problem or like a situation that you wanted our advice on, that we were going to add it to the end of our episode, but we're filming a little differently, so we're going to just make that a separate segment on our Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So
we noticed that we have a lot of followers on our Instagram mainly.
Yeah,
because that's like the only thing we have.
Yeah, so that will be kind of where we give our advice. So stay tuned for that. We have one coming soon. It might even probably already be up before this episode is up. So yeah.
And we're trying to be as vulnerable as we can, so you feel vulnerable. Not vulnerable, but able to trust.
Yeah.
And just know that we're just trying to help. There's no judgment. We're just all walking through this life, and it's all for fun. It's all for good fun and for good help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
See you next week. New episodes every Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Girl, what you think? Girl, what you think? Yeah.